And I'm looking forward to this one. So this is Sarah in Iowa. Her pronouns are she, her. She's got a story about being in the hospital and having a sense of spiritual things around her. Oh, okay. Hello, Sarah. Welcome to Truth Wanted. What have you got for us?
Hello. Hi. So my dad was dying in the hospital of
Mhm,
COVID.
mhm.
And my sister and my cousin and I were sitting around in a waiting room while a nurse was helping him get dressed. And the elevator in the waiting room opened and nobody was in the elevator. Like there was nobody around it, nobody inside it that was coming out of the elevator. So we all kind of chuckled and went, well, hey, grandma, because our grandma had died previously.
Right.
And obviously we didn't believe our grandma was literally in there, like coming to take her son home or anything, but it was some much needed levity to the situation. He did end up dying that day, but I don't know, maybe God listened to me. You can talk about what might have happened to make a spooky elevator open up randomly or something like
Right.
that.
Well,
Right.
I would go straight in with, do elevators get called and then people don't go in them, and do they then move around the building, or does that never happen? Because that would be my first question. Could an elevator move without somebody actually being inside it?
Well, honestly, this is a pretty good, I guess, topic because this is kind of the elevator problem is a popular one in like software engineering and everything like that. I actually had to write a program for like a elevator system in school. First off, I want to say I'm so sorry about your dad passing away from COVID and everything. I got COVID when it was like the OG COVID, and I didn't have to go to the hospital, but my wife, she did, and that was a terrible
Wow.
experience. And so I really hate that y'all had to go through that. So I'm so sorry about that. As far as the elevator goes, there's a lot of things that could have happened. I mean, how do you know that somebody didn't get into the elevator, accidentally hit one floor, and then hit the correct floor, and they just got off beforehand? Like, and then now elevators usually don't just roam about going up and down. It's normally like they're called. You send a signal, they're called to that floor, or you're in the elevator and you tell it to go somewhere. So my bet is that the most likely situation there is just that somebody was in the elevator and they either got off on the wrong floor, or they accidentally hit a floor they didn't mean to and they got off before it got to your floor, or something like that,
Right.
of that nature. I would bet that, but I also wouldn't rule out like maybe there's an elevator system out there where they just randomly like will stop at a floor or something like that. That's not out of the realm of possibility, but I think that the most likely situation is just that somebody either pushed the button either on your floor or in the elevator, and they just they just got off, before getting to your particular floor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess I assumed that somebody had maybe like when we were obviously distracted, right? Had maybe called for it and forgot their keys or something like that. But it was just kind of a
Right.
fun little story.
It is a cool
Yeah.
story, and I'm a big fan of, especially in situations like you were in. And again, I'm sorry, I didn't say that I'm sorry to have heard about that, because I'm a terrible person. But in situations like that, we tend to find things that comfort us. And if an elevator opening at that moment, and you say, "Oh, hello, Grandma," makes you all feel better in that moment, I'm absolutely all for it. I had a situation where a friend of mine actually passed away in front of us. He had a heart attack. And this was still in a time where I was a believer in the spiritual world. And this is almost one of the defining moments where I stopped believing in it all, because I was like, if I've got this gift that I've been told about for decades of my life, that I can see and speak to dead people, my dead friend will appear to me now and I can tell him to go back into his body and all this stuff. And it never actually happened. But whilst he had passed out, I hadn't learned how to do CPR. Whilst he was dead, he's not dead anymore. Thankfully, he was resuscitated, but he was technically dead for 7 minutes. In that time, to make me feel better, because I had nothing else to do, I was looking around for him. as a dead person. So I completely understand like why you would look in an open elevator, and use that as a moment to help give you some comfort. It makes absolute sense to me. But I mean, as a story, does it sound like it is a spirit? It could be a spiritual thing. Unfortunately, not. But it would be amazing if it was, right?
It made for a wonderful end to his obituary. But
sure, there you go. And what a lovely moment to remember him by, when you were all sitting together and you had this moment and you can talk about it. And you know, we have no idea why this elevator opened, but we just said it was our grandma, and it made us all feel good and great. And I love that. Good for you.
Chuckle.
Yeah, exactly. And I absolutely all for it. Thank you, Sarah. That's lovely.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for talking to me today.
Hey, no, thank you for calling in. We're
No
all
problem.
open to it.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah. Thank you, Sarah. Have a good rest of the day.